Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Racing Podblast with me, Tony Mack, and Ben Aiken from Narrow in the Field. And it's a Scottish double-header this week, starting with the racing from Kelso. We're going to Kelso today, taking in 3 races from their Morebattle hurdle day, including the big handicap itself, the 2-mile Morebattle handicap hurdle. Then we keep ourselves in Scotland for the next round of our ongoing Football Trixie Battle, top, middle and bottom. Racing first though, and off to Kelso we go, starting with the Class 2 Bet365 handicap hurdle over 2 miles 5 furlongs, due off at 2:20 later on Saturday. The first of our 3 races under analysis this week. Welcome along, Ben, and can you start us off with that one?
Morning, Tony. Yeah, but
Morning.
For starting, nice work last week. Big race from yourself. Kitate Dore.
Yes, yeah.
I think he was around 9-1 when you put him up. He was backed in, so top stuff. And I believe you banged in a 50-1 winner on TalkSport 2 yesterday.
50-1 winner, Mercy.
50-1. Pulled that one out.
50-1,
nice.
and being told I've lost my mind and I'm crazy off an jockey who used to ride Desert Orchid. Well, it wasn't to be, was it?
That's it. You want people to think you're crazy. That means you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to this week, but good stuff, mate.
Thank you.
Hopefully more of the same at Kelso. Starting at the 220, the handicap hurdle, Bet365 handicap hurdle. I've got a short list of 3 for this one. Ace of Spades, Bold Light and Fingals Hill. I think Ace of Spades is the obvious place to start. He's won his last 2. Last of those here at Kelso on a novice hurdle over 2 mile 6. He was rated 1, 2, 3 that day. Interestingly, he wasn't shifted up any for the win, so he's able to make handicap debut off that same mark. The skeletons are generally worth noting with the runners that come to Kelso, especially over obstacles, and especially those starting at around 4-1 or shorter. With those types, Dan Skeleton is 9 from 23 and 4 placed. 39% strike rate. Profit's a little bit skinny, and they strike bang on market expectations, so they're not over or underperforming. What would maybe slightly concern me is the record of Dan Skelton handicap hurdle debutants in the last 2 seasons, especially those coming off a break of more than 6 weeks, like Ace of Spades is. With those types, the yard are only 2 from 49, 11 places. 4% win strike rate, 73% below expectations. So whilst I do think Ace of Spades is a serious player here, I think the stats for similar types from the yard are just enough to make me look for a bit of value from something else in the race. Previous course winner, Bold Light, is the first one that catches my eye. Lucinda Russell won this race last year, also with a previous course winner. Bold Light comes here very much not an exposed type. This being only his 7th hurdle start, only his 2nd handicap start. He sent him over 3 miles last time out. Probably didn't stay that trip, so this drop back to 2 mile 5 looks a smart move. I think he should have plenty more to offer from his current mark of 1, 2, 3. The £7 claim, the £7 claim with Jack Power, which is an interesting booking as well. So I like Bold Light for Lucinda Russell. And the bigger prices, Fingals Hill catches my eye. He's well handicapped at the minute of 117. He gets his prime conditions to shoot for in this race. A mark of 1, 2, 3 or less. A trip of 2 mile 5 or shorter. And the February to November period where he is 6 wins and a place from 9 starts. That's all 6 of his career wins. They've been running him over trips beyond his stamina limitations recently, so he's another that will appreciate his drop back in trip. And I think Fingals Hill looks a shade overpriced at 12-1 or bigger. And I'd be happy to play both Bold Light and Fingals Hill here. Not going to be surprised if Ace of Spades gets the job done. Just a couple of stats though putting me off him a little bit, so I'll look elsewhere and I'm going for Bold Light and Fingals Hill. Tony, what you got for this handicap?
I've got Ace of Spades on my short list here, even though he's going up in class. It is an interesting one on handicap debut, isn't it, for off a mark of 1, 2, 3 for the Skeletons. He did win over at this track in December, when last seen in December, beating 7 rivals 6.5 lengths, beating Far From Over. He was 8-15 favourite that day, and I think he did very well on the ground as well. On good to soft that day, he'll probably get the same good to soft on Saturday. Ace of Spades for me on a handicap debut, and I am Dutching Ace of Spades with Mr. Bramley. Another one up in class here. He was last seen beating 16 rivals, 2 lengths, and bowling Buddy at Wetherby on the 1st of February. Which will be last month by the time we come round to racing on Saturday. Off a mark of 124, he's been put up £6 for the 2-length win, and I do believe Mr. Bramley can go up in class, up to this class from class 3 to class 2 here, and for trainer Jed O'Keefe, who needs a bit of a change of look. Lately, Conor O'Farrell in the saddle. He's although over hurdles, the trainer has been doing well, but really I was looking at his 365-day form, 42% win and place strike rate, which isn't bad for a trainer of Jed O'Keefe's standing, and I think Mr. Bramley can do him a lot of favours tomorrow, and Dutching the pair of them, Mr. Bramley and Ace of Spades as well, which Ben has also gone for in that 220 at Kelso. On to the 255, the Premier Novices Hurdle, Grade 2 over 2 miles, 2 furlongs. Looks a tricky one, Ben.
Some decent types have won this one over the years. This year's renewal looks well up to scratch. 8 of the 10 runners won last time out. We've even got a Willie Mullins rider lining up for the prize this year, and I think it's the first runner Willie Mullins has ever sent to Kelso. That runner being Chart Topper, who is 2 from 2 over hurdles. Second of those runs also coming this side Irish Sea. He's a winner at Wetherby last month. This will be tougher, but he's clearly taken hurdles at senior well, and he shapes as if he's got plenty more still to come. I also noticed the following stat associated with Willie Mullins. Willie Mullins was a solo runner at a UK track in a hurdle race over shorter than 2 mile 4. And not a Grade 1 race. Since the start of 2024, there have been 13 runners that met that angle. 12 of them have won. A 92% strike rate. Chart Topper meets that stat here, and I'm a little surprised he's available at 72 for this Chart Topper. Obviously, others worth mentioning in the race. Van der Poel runs for the banging form Ben Pauling and Ben Jones team. Since the start of February, they are 13 from 29 and 5 places, a whopping 45% win strike rate. Van der Poel, he's unbeaten 2 from 2 so far under rules. He also won his second point-to-point start by a wide margin. The first of his bumper wins, which came at Huntingdon at the start of January, has been working out extremely well since. The second won next time out. The third is 2 from 2 since. And the horse that finished 5th that day is also 2 from 2 since. So strong form and offer there. And Van der Poel looks at a live player for Pauling and Jones. And Lagan Hill, he's also worth a mention. He looks potentially overpriced here. He's 2 from 2 so far in his career, and his debut in at Haydock in December has been boosted by the runner-up winning both his starts since, both by a wide margin. His trainer, Henry Daly, he's also got some solid stats with his last time out winners that he sends on a trip of 150 miles or more, especially those aged 7 or younger. With those types, he is 16 from 35 and 5 placed, 46% win strike rate. And Lagan Hill looks a shade overpriced at around 9 to 1 or bigger. So no surprise to see either Van der Poel or Lagan Hill going close here. I think it's between that two and the Mullins horse. I'm going to side with the Mullins horse, Chart Topper. I think he looks decent value in this. So Chart Topper for me, Tony. What you got for this Grade 2?
Yeah, I was looking at Dedicated Hero for Sandy Thompson. He won here at this track in December, beating 11 rivals, 7.5 lengths that day, and that was in winning his maiden that day. He's on a mark of 128. He did win his handicap debut at Haydock in good style. Class 1 as well, a Class 1 Supreme Novices Trial, the Rossington Main Novices Hurdle at the Grade 2 at Haydock. And back in January when he was last seen. I mean, obviously this is a Grade 2 as well. So this, I think he could run a big race, Dedicated Hero. I'm not quite sure about his price, 13 to 2. Whether I'll be playing each way or not, I do not know. But I've got 2 more that I will be playing each way. Road Less Travelled for the O'Neills, John Joe and AJ O'Neill. John Joe O'Neill Jr. in the saddle. Well, I was a big fan of AJ O'Neill since he came in, but the knot from 23 looks like the handbrake's been put back on. Knot from 23 in the last 14 days here, Ben. So road less travelled, even though he was pulled up last time out. He did win his 3 previous races, a maiden hurdle, a novice hurdle, and a Grade 2 novices hurdle at Haydock back in November, and he's certainly better than what he's shown in the novices Grade 1 novices hurdle at Aintree on Boxing Day, and I think he can run a lot better at around 11 to 1. And I'm with you on Lagan Hill, mate, for Henry Daly. Even though he's not from 18 in the last 14 days, I picked up on the last time out winner, and from GeeGeez the last 2 years with last time out winners, he's 9 from 58 with another 11 hitting the frame, a 35% winning place strike rate on last time out winners for Henry Daly in the last 2 years. Lagan Hill does go up in class here, but I think he can hit the frame with some firms that are paying 4 places possibly on the race. So Lagan Hill each way, and also road less travelled for the O'Neills, and a change of look for the O'Neills each way, and possibly dedicated hero. Have a look. I'd tell listeners to have a look at that as post time arrives. On to the big one then, at 3:30, the Morebattle hurdle, the Class 2 handicap over 2 miles here, Ben. Ooh, 18, is it 18 runners going to post here?
Yeah, it's well, like a nice and competitive 18-runner handicap to round out the race analysis. I settled on a short list of 4: Favour and Fortune, Al Nalam, Tell Her the Name, and Old Gregorian. Favour and Fortune was an eye-catcher for me last time out. He finished 4th in the William Hill handicap hurdle at Newbury 3 weekends back. He was carrying 11.10 that day, and that race has proven tricky for those up near the top of the handicap. Horses carrying 11.9 or more in that Newbury race are 0 from 47, so his 4th of 17 is better than it looks. A Favour and Fortune also gets conditions in his favour here. His form away from very undulating tracks reads 5 wins and 2 places from 8 starts. That's all of his win and placed efforts. He's still only £2 above his Scottish champion hurdle winner mark from last season. I think Favour and Fortune should run well here. Al Nalam, he runs here for Ollie Murphy. He's been getting a good tune out of the horse after picking him up from the Anthony Charlton yard around this time last year. Al Nalam is 2 from 3 at Kelso. Cleo handles the track very well. Still unexposed in handicap hurdles. This is only his 5th run in a handicap. He's been posting some strong figures this season, and his mark of 133 doesn't look beyond him. Ollie Murphy's booked Sean Quinlan for the first time here as well, and that looks an interesting move. He's a jockey that rides Kelso well, so I'll know him high in my thoughts. Tell Her the Name makes handicap debut here. After running 4th behind Sergino in the Fighting Fifth in Newcastle last time out. He was out of his depth there at Grade 1 level, and he's made little impact in any of his 3 Grade 1 starts. If you look at him away from Grade 1 company, he's 2 wins and a nose second. That second coming behind Django Bai. So I think this drop in a handicap company is a wise move. And even on a loose line with Django Bai, he's not hard to think that Tell Her the Name is sitting on a very workable mark of 137 right now. He's also been off for 91 days, and I suspect that's probably so he could protect his mark and have a crack at the 100 grand bonus on offer for any horse winning the Morebattle and then going on to win at the Cheltenham Festival. Tell Her the Name is entered in the county hurdle at Cheltenham, so could be connections have their eye on bagging that bonus. So Tell Her the Name's definitely on my thoughts. And Old Gregorian for a listener, Russell, the other on my short list, he ran an okay race at Musselburgh last time out, but he's much better on a left-handed track with undulations, where he has 3 wins and a second from 4 starts. Over the Kelso hurdles, he has 2 wins and a second from 3 starts. So clearly another one that handles this track well, and he could go well at big odds and possibly run himself into a place, Old Gregorian. I could see all 4 I just covered run well, but I'm going to set over 2 of them, and that 2 being Tell Her the Name and Al Nalam. Tell Her the Name is around 92 mark, and Al Nalam, he's around 14 to 1. So I'll play that 2. Tony, what you got for the Morebattle hurdle?
I've got Alan and Lamb as well here, Ben, for trainer Ollie Murphy and Sean Quinlan. Trainer's in fine form, isn't he? 37% winning place strike rate in the last 30 days, 21 winners from 84 going to post, another 10 hitting the frame. And, I do like the chances of Al Nilam and, as you say, Sean Quinlan, very eye-catching jockey booking there for Ollie Murphy. And Cracking Rhapsody of the others, Ben, I've got Cracking Rhapsody. Here, maybe playing Al Nilam at his price, 16 to 1. I think it's a bit too big, I think, at the minute. Cracking Rhapsody, I'm a bit out on it. He did beat Old Gregorian over course and distance in December, beating 8 rivals, 4 lengths. Old Gregorian was in second that day. He was the 2 to 1 favourite, and but he did bomb out at Windsor and possibly didn't get the track at Windsor. A lot of horses won't get the Windsor track. Now it's a National Hunt track as well as the flat, of course. Off a mark of 133. He's dropped a pound for that effort when he was beaten 9.5 lengths. So the Ewan Willens yard are in a decent form at the minute. 45% winning place strike rate in the last 14 days. Maybe playing Cracking Rhapsody. Slugger I do like. He's won his last 3. Slugger for Harry Durham and Paul O'Brien in the saddle, travelling up to Kelso tomorrow. He has won his last 3. He's won a couple of handicap hurdles. Over 2 miles, 1 furlong at Carlisle and Doncaster, and then over 2 miles at Musselburgh when he beat 5 rivals, 1.25 lengths off a £6 lower mark. So I do fancy Slugger, who's currently around 14. I think that's a little bit too big. All 3 of them, Ben, of my selections do like to race prominently, and I'm hoping that one, if not all, will be still at the end of the 2 mile race here, the Morebattle hurdle. Al Nilam, Cracking Rhapsody, and Slugger, my 3 from the big race of the day. That is off at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. All right, it's football time. Here we go.
Oh, golly, what a boy! The great thing about loving football is you cannot explain why you love it. It just happens. Chasing a ball round a park, wanting one team to win against the other.
El Mahoney, right foot, whips it. Oh, jeez, he peeps, man.
It is top, middle and bottom time for round 29. Top, middle and bottom, an update on the current state of play, Ben.
Just the one winner for each of us last week, so -4, both our totals. Current totals are me plus 32.48, Tony minus 33.66. On to this week, and my top, middle and bottom is top Dunfermline to beat Morton at 21-20. A tricky round of matches in the championship, but I'm going to side with Dunfermline. And neither Dunfermline or Morton are in the best of form recently. And Dunfermline have actually failed to score in their last 5, but they've been tight matches. And Morton at home is a great place to get the scoring boots back on. And Morton have failed to keep a clean sheet in 9 of their last 10 away matches, conceding 2 or more in 8 of those matches. So Dunfermline can hopefully get some goals back on the board here and grind out a win. In middle, Cove Rangers to beat Alloa at 6-5. Cove are banging form right now, winning 6 of their last 10. They've only lost once. They also have tightened up at the back plenty. They've only conceded 7 in their last 10. They can take care of Alloa here. We've only been average at home this season. They've lost 3 of their last 5 at home as well. So Cove Rangers for me here in the middle, and bottom, Edinburgh City to beat Stranraer at 11-10. Edinburgh still seem to be overpriced. They are in cracking form right now. They won 5 of the last 6. The only defeat coming away at league leaders East Fife. East Fife, who have by far the best home record in the league, so no disgrace going down, going to Bayview and getting beat. So I will take Edinburgh to get the better of Stranraer here, who have lost 3 of their last 4 on the road, giving me a top, middle and bottom of top Dunfermline, middle Cove Rangers, and bottom Edinburgh City. Tony, what have you got?
Well, this is the bit where everybody switches off, but very quickly, Dunfermline against Morton, draw at 9-4. So we're doing the same game there, but I think Dunfermline and Morton draw 9-4. Queen of the South to beat Kelty Hearts at even money in the middle, and at the bottom, I'm with you, Edinburgh City to beat Stranraer at 11-10. Edinburgh City to beat Stranraer 11-10. We've got Queen of the South, Kelty Hearts at even money, and Dunfermline draw at 9-4. Many thanks for listening to the latest edition of the Racing Podblast. Very best of luck with your bets at Kelso this weekend, and you can catch me over on 3B's Radio Breakfast Monday through Friday, starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 till 9, and on Heritage Chart Radio between 1 and 4 in the afternoon, if you can't do the breakfast. You can catch me at lunchtimes between 1 and 4, Heritage Chart Radio, the old Mike Reed. That's his radio station. And you can catch more from Ben over on narrowinthefield.co.uk. Thanks again, and we'll see you all again next week. Cheers, Ben.
Cheers, all right.